Hello everyone, and welcome to EPWA Warsaw, which is a pretty small international airport in Poland, but it is a very nice place to be. And currently we're in the business lounge for LOT Airlines, looking out the window, checking everything out. And today we're going to be on LOT Airlines Flight 3 in business class going back to Chicago O'Hare. With an expected departure time of around 4:55 in the afternoon, we should arrive around 7 o'clock in the evening at O'Hare. The plane that we'll be flying is a 787-9 Dreamliner at around 40,000 feet. The total trip is around 4,700 miles. I would say that the business class in Warsaw actually has a pretty nice lounge. I would say that there are warm food and beverages. The thing that I don't like are the restrooms. I'd say that they're a little bit too small considering that this restroom is basically built to house more than one person, is very tight, and lacks privacy. After that quick stop in the business lounge, it was time to go to the gate. The gate for today's flight was gate 2N, which was actually on the ground floor of the airport, which meant that we were going to take a bus to the airplane. I actually very much enjoy the fact that we were going to take a bus for two reasons. First reason is I was flying business class, which basically meant I got priority over everyone else, and I could get a pretty nice spot in the bus. And the second reason is, since we're traveling along the airport in the bus, I could catch some views of some cool airplanes while they begin their taxis or startups. And apart from that, I also got to be outside on the actual airport grounds, which I very much enjoyed, and I got to take some nice photos. Even though I won't be really showing them in this video, I will show a video of one of the Wizz airplanes that I saw when I was on the bus before we ended up getting out. Anyways, here's the gate 2N, and now I'm going to cut to getting on the bus. Even though the bus ride was pretty crowded, I was able to stand next to one of the windows and actually got this time lapse of going to the plane. There's actually some pretty cool other planes that I got to see, a lot of Embraer 737s, a couple of 787s, actually a United States government plane. And while waiting to deboard the bus, I caught a glimpse of this Wizz Air Airbus A321 taxiing by, and it was actually very nice seeing it up close. And then sooner than later, we began boarding the LOT Airlines 787-9. Overall, it was very nice seeing this beast up close, and I absolutely loved being able to look around the airport before boarding. And eventually getting on the airplane, first impressions, the business class was actually very nice. Even though I didn't get the window seat, I was able to see out of the windows pretty clearly, and the amount of legroom on this plane was absolutely amazing. I'm about 5'10", and there was still legroom for me, so I've got to say there's a lot of space. For departure, we were given a menu, and we would have a first course, a main course, and a dessert, along with an optional selection of cheeses, and beverages, which included wine, beer, orange juice, soda, and a lot more. Then, the flight attendant actually came on the intercom and said that our flight would be delayed because we were waiting for passengers from another flight that were going to go onto our flight. It was a connecting flight. And we were actually delayed for about 20 minutes to half an hour, which was actually not the best, but I didn't mind. And about 30 minutes after we were originally supposed to depart from the gate, we finally left the gate, and we were on our taxi roll. So we can see there is the main terminal of Chopin International in Warsaw, and in about 7 minutes we'll actually reach the runway where we will begin our takeoff roll. Until after departure, I will actually stop commenting on this video so you can enjoy the taxi and the takeoff of this flight. If I don't forget, I should hopefully add timestamps in the description or probably in the actual video so that you're able to see where the takeoff is and the taxi so you guys don't get bored. Right after departure, I decided to check out some movies. And surprisingly, they have a lot of movies including The Matrix and Just Mercy. I actually watched Just Mercy during the flight because I loved reading the book and I loved actually watching the movie back in, I think it was freshman year of high school when we were watching it, and it was actually all very good. So I decided to rewatch it again as it wasn't that fresh in my mind, and I thought it would be very nice. Overall, I'd say there's definitely a lot of options. There's also some Japanese, there's some animes, there are a lot of English movies, some Polish movies, and there's also a lot of TV shows. So, yeah, let's cut to the actual food part of this flight. The appetizer you are seeing here is a carrot cream soup, along with salad and a bread roll. The soup is actually very good and warm, and the bread roll was also toasted before being handed to us. Overall, I ate all the soup, it was that good. And then for the salad, it was your usual salad. I don't know what to say too much. They gave us olive oil to go with it, and overall, it was all pretty good. I would give it a 10 out of 10. And then after a while, the main course was served, which was dumplings with some vegetables on the side. The vegetables and the dumplings were savory and overall very good. The dumplings were thin, but overall, I would give them a 9 out of 10. At this point in time, I decided to lie down a bit as we were at our cruise altitude of 40,000 feet. I just wanted to relax and watch the movie. Overall, it was very nice, just relaxing, and overall, very comfy. And after a bit more time of relaxation, they ended up giving us some dessert, which I decided to choose some cake. The cake was an almond cake with strawberry filling inside. It was moist, sweet, and soft, and overall I would give it a 10 out of 10. After a long while later, by the end of my movie Just Mercy, the flight attendants dimmed the cabin lights and dimmed the windows as well. Majority of the passengers at this time were getting ready to go to sleep, but I was ready to go and get some more footage of the flight. In about an hour to an hour and a half before our descent, flight attendants came around and gave us a cheese and cucumber sandwich. Overall, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's actually pretty refreshing and I actually enjoyed it. The cucumbers mixed with the cheese, and I believe there was also some tomato in there. It made it very juicy and actually very good. The cheese also tasted very fresh, and that made this so much better than the economy version which I had on the flight to Poland. And a very short while later, the flight attendants gave us warm towels to prepare for our final meal of the flight, which was the arrival meal. Before the food was actually handed out, there was a nice aroma throughout the cabin. When the food was actually given, I realized it was pasta with mushrooms along with chicken on the side, chickpeas, a fruit salad, and bread rolls. The pasta was actually very good, I enjoyed all of it. Same thing with the bread roll. The chicken, I can't say the same. It was actually very cold once I ate it, and I would give it a 2 out of 10. It didn't actually taste like chicken. The chickpeas I actually enjoyed, but I didn't eat too much as I was pretty much full. But overall, I'd rate this meal a 7 out of 10. If it wasn't for the chicken, probably a 10 out of 10. The fruit salad was also pretty refreshing before our arrival, and looking out the window, it was pretty much cloudy. Same thing as after our departure, there were little clouds, but towards our flight to Chicago, it was very cloudy. And I've got to say, even during the arrival, it was pretty cloudy. And basically this whole flight was in the clouds. The weather in Chicago was also very bad. It was actually very turbulent on the arrival, and it was raining. It wasn't raining that much until after I arrived at the airport, but there was definitely a decent amount of rain and a decent amount of turbulence, which you will see right now. Even though the landing was a little bit firm, I wouldn't say it wasn't comfortable. I would actually say the pilot did a pretty good job. And we were also on time at the airport, even though we departed about half an hour later. There was only one issue though. There was a different plane that was occupying our gate at the time, so we had to wait an extra 15 minutes. But here's just a time lapse of basically taxiing throughout O'Hare. My overall opinion on this flight is actually pretty good. As you can see, this flight was mainly in the clouds, sadly not being able to get that many good photos and videos, but the flight crew rating, I would give them a 10 out of 10. One of the flight attendants even said that I should take more snacks if I feel like it, and overall the food was actually very good. I would give it basically an 8 out of 10. Every meal was a 10 out of 10, except for one thing, and that was the chicken, but it wasn't that big of an issue. Overall, legroom seating, definitely a 9 out of 10. I would say there's definitely a lot of legroom, but there isn't that much storage. If I wanted to place my blanket somewhere, it'd have to be right under the footrest or basically on to the side of me. And I would have expected the seating to be 1, then 2, then 1, just like other airlines such as United and Delta. But sadly, it was only just 2 seats, then 2 seats, then 2 seats. Overall, during the landing, my hands were a bit shaky when recording, mainly due to the turbulence, but the landing was overall very good. I would give it an 8 out of 10, and it was actually very acceptable for the weather. And it wasn't so rough that I felt shocked, but it was harder than usual. Overall, this whole flight, I would give it about a 9.5 out of 10. Why do I give this 9.5 out of 10, even though my ratings were a bit lower than probably a 9.5 out of 10? Mainly just because the crew was amazing, pilots were professional, and overall, everyone's professional during this flight, and the food was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. So if you ever think about flying Lot Airlines and you have no other alternatives such as United or maybe Delta, go ahead. I too, they're an amazing airline. Just make sure you always check the baggage prices and your baggage fees. Originally, I had an economy ticket and I had an upgrade to business, but sadly I had to pay another $70 fee just for my bag. So my upgrade total cost was about $800 and something dollars, which means that my total ticket was about $1,300 for one way. And that included me having to pay that extra $70 to $80 fee just for another bag, which I feel like it was a bit unclear since on the website it does say you can take up to 3 bags when you are flying business, but this could just be because it was an upgrade. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to check out the other content that's on my channel, and hopefully I'll be able to do more reviews of flights. Thank you, and have a great day, great night, or wherever you are, have a good one. Keep the blue skies up. Catch you in the next one.